Good afternoon, guys. It's Workin bringing you a quick update on Bitcoin. Hope you guys are having a wonderful afternoon. Looking at Bitcoin to the US dollar, this is the one-day chart on Coinbase. And last time we spoke, guys, Bitcoin had just broken up in here. We were testing the top of this zone, guys. Again, no coincidence that when Bitcoin broke out of this ascending triangle here, it came up, hit exactly where we would have expected, the top of this prior order structure here. Again, kind of the bull's last stand from what breakdown from 6,000, literally almost to the dollar, hitting the top of this little wick of that zone, acting as resistance, and then of course breaking down here. And no surprise at all that was very strong. What was very strong resistance right here at the top of this ascending triangle is now acting as support. Now, short term, that is a bullish sign. And I still, as I told you last time, guys, I think there's a good chance that we break up above. I think we break possibly at least retesting once again the top of this zone, if not breaking above this zone, possibly coming up higher than 5,700, if not this 5,800 zone up here, and testing in between 5,800 and 6,000, which of course should act as a very, very strong resistance. Of course, we know that's the area that Bitcoin bounced up on top of all throughout 2018. Wouldn't be surprised to see us coming up and hitting that zone. Why do I say that? For all the reasons that I discussed on my last video, but I'll go ahead and recap some of them now. The most important being looking at longs versus shorts here, guys. We're looking at shorts just stacking off the board here, and you know, it's really interesting to see that spike in price, and then to see shorts just continue to stack right along with that. Now, we've had a little bit of an increase, and shorts just continue to stack, but shorts were not fooled in this market. There are zero, as I said on my last video, there are no more guppies in this market. Everybody in this market has either, is either completely brushed up and learned their lessons from 2018, or these are just all veteran traders for the most part in this market, guys. But there's very few guppies left in the market. Everybody is expecting a larger pullback, which we're seeing with these shorts. So it's going to be very interesting to see whether or not market makers drive price up here, trying to liquidate those short positions again. If they drive price too high, when you're going to get a lot of people entering short positions here, especially at this $6,000 range. There's just no question about it. So there's not a lot of room to push price up to liquidate those current short positions. That being said, guys, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of those short positions get liquidated right at the top of this zone here, right at let's call this 56.60. Literally, that is almost to the dollar here. If we just zoom in here and get very technical, that's really literally to the dollar of this top of this prior order structure back here. I wouldn't be surprised to see a lot of if you're a trader, typically what happens is, if you're new to it, the general rule of thumb is you're going to place your stop loss right at the top of the wick of whatever the support or resistance you're looking at. In this case, if we're looking at a short, you're going to put it right at the top of this prior wick here. Now, if you're more of a veteran trader, you know that's where everybody puts their stop losses, so you're going to add about 1 to 2% to that. And so you would put your stop loss rather than where everybody else is here, right at about 56.60, which we touched right here. You're going to put that would really be more of your entry. You're going to put your stop loss a little bit above that. I personally, if I was going to go short here, which I did not, but if I was, I'd have my stop loss. I'd probably have my stop loss here at 5,800. I would take that risk. I can see it, as I said, I can see it wicking up into this zone, and I think a lot of people may have that. So I think there's a stop. We're going to get a lot of shorts liquidated somewhere between 57 to 40 and 5,800. I think you're going to take out a lot of those short positions, and then above 5,800, really probably about 5,900 all the way up to it, and including 6,200, the bottom of this order structure right here. So between 6,000 and 6,200, I think you're going to get a lot. That's where all the shorts are going to start to enter again, expecting a strong rejection off that zone. Wouldn't be surprised. So I think a lot of people are looking for that wick just above 6,000, nice strong wick, strong rejection, and then right back down. I think a more likely scenario is we're going to flounder around in here for a little bit, maybe come back down, retest the bottom of this zone at about 53.50. We're going to come right back up here. They're going to try to liquidate those short positions. Again, this is exactly what I said in my last video. It's going to come right around 5,800-ish. Again, guys, give or take $50, and then we're going to get that stronger breakdown. And that breakdown will be confirmed if and when me come back down and we break below what was resistance on this ascending triangle, should start to act as support. If and when that support is broken, that's just a sure sign to I will absolutely short that area right there. The minute that it breaks there, very likely, depending on if I'm at my computer, I would very easily short that position, guys, and I'd be targeting 5,000. I'd be targeting the bottom of this zone here, right around 5,000. Now that's going to be the lowest that Bitcoin corrects, in my opinion. Of course, anything could happen here. This is crypto. This is completely, in my opinion, not financial advice at all. So please do your own research, guys. But I think what's going to happen is, I think more than likely we're going to come down to at least this ascending support line here. Excuse me. But more than likely probably come back down here to 4,500, really 4,500. The top of this zone here was $4,540. I think we're going to very likely come down and test that zone, if not lower, all the way down to and including the 4,000, which of course was major resistance, should act as major support. The higher we go here, the less likely I think 4,000 becomes. But I do think very likely we are due for a very strong retrace from the top of the zone, wherever that top of that zone is. I think we're retracing at least 25, or if not possibly 30%. Looking at the daily chart, looking at our exponential moving averages, guys, and moving averages, we can see that we're still holding above the 8-day EMA. Again, very, very bullish sign. I don't expect that to last too much. We may get, again, we're going to, I think, very likely one more kick up here, and then we're going to be coming back down. I think a decisive break below that 8-day EMA is going to be your first sign. But really, the most important sign here, or the most relevant EMA that we're looking at here, is this 21-day EMA. As you guys always know, if you've watched my videos, the 21-day EMA is an extremely relevant exponential moving average to watch, in my opinion. When we broke up above the 21-day EMA all the way back here on February the 8th, we can see that 21-day EMA literally acted as support all the way up here. And even though we broke below it here, remember that was not a decisive break below here. A decisive break below is a daily candle, both opening and closing. So back here on March the 4th, we had a daily candle closing, but we did not have an daily candle both opening and closing. We had a closing up above here, it opened here, and then it closed here. So we never had a daily candle opening and closing below that 21-day EMA. So if we get that, the first sign, of course, is going to be this breakdown below the 21-day EMA. But then if following that we get a daily candle both opening and closing below that 21-day EMA, I think that's going to be a good sign that we're going to be falling down here to very likely at least pardon me, at least 5,000, which would be just below that zone here. That would take us down to just below, between the 55 EMA and the 21-day EMA. But very likely, I think we're going to very possibly come back down to this 55-day EMA right here, which would bring us down to about 4,700. If not, the 200-day moving average, this purple line right here, which just happens to coincide almost perfectly at the moment with 4,500. And we know 4,500, as I just discussed, was that target zone that we have down here, that first area of what was resistance back here, that very likely will act as support. And it also has some nice confluence with this ascending support line here that we've been discussing and we've been watching. Now, what will invalidate that? As I told you last time, guys, if we break up above this zone between 5,800 and 6,000, and we start to consolidate on top of 6,000, a decisive break above 6,000, and then a consolidation pattern on top of 6,000, at that point, I'll think a correction. At that point, I think we very likely could be going much higher before we have a larger correction. But no matter what, we are going to get a larger correction at some time, and I think it's going to be below 6,000. As I said, one more kick up, and then I think we're very likely going to get a stronger correction. None of this is financial advice, guys. Anything could happen with crypto. Of course, this is just my opinion. All right, I'm going to go ahead and wrap Bitcoin there. Let's very quickly look at some altcoins, starting off here with EOS. EOS, as I told you guys last time, was a very risky buy. We had just come up here. We had just topped right at $6. We know that's the top of that $6 range, guys, was this almost double top. There was a very strong supply zone. In other words, a very strong area of very likely sell orders that were sitting up here right around 6,000, between $5.90 and $6. Not 6,000, $6. Sorry, guys. Between $5.90 and $6. And of course, we came back up here, tested that zone, strong rejection right back down, confirming this very strong area of this very strong supply zone. A lot of sell orders sitting up in here, guys. And last time we spoke, Bitcoin was sitting here operating within this larger wedge, or not really a larger wedge, but a wedge, I should say. And it did end up breaking down here, guys. I told you it could break any which way. It was a very risky buy, which is why I was not playing it. I was not trading EOS. It ended up breaking down, finding where I told you it may find some support right down here between about 510 and 525, and it did find support there for about 3 days, and then it just broke down that zone. And it's no coincidence that this 21-day EMA here, guys, this yellow line is also a very relevant zone on EOS. It's been acting as support all throughout this this bull run here. We just broke below that 21-day EMA, and of course, what's happening? We had a decisive break below, and of course, we came back down here. I told you if we did break below this zone, guys, the first area of support would be $4.50. We dropped almost down to that, guys. We dropped down to about 462, not quite down to that support level yet. What is a good buy for EOS? I do think that we are going to see another kick up. What I think is going to happen with EOS, I think Bitcoin's going to kick up. I think EOS might kick up here in the short term. If you're looking for a scalp trade, anything below 450 down to and including 427 might be a good buy for a very, very quick scalp day. I don't even know if I'd do a swing trade. It's very, very risky, guys. I think we're going to come up. I think we're going to test $5 to 510, and then I think we're coming right back down again. I think it's going to very likely follow Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, as I said, Bitcoin may break up. I think EOS has a likelihood of breaking up here in the short term, and then I think we're coming back down to at least this zone down here between 450 and 427. If that does break down, guys, then the next area of real support we have is down here at about 370 down to about 350. If and when we fall down to that zone, I'm going to be very, very interested in adding more to my long-term hold portfolio. As of right now, guys, of course, my long-term hold portfolio, I'm not touching my EOS. But as far as trading EOS, again, separate funds, guys. I'm an investor and a trader. As far as my trading funds, I haven't touched EOS. I told you guys I wasn't going to touch it. I haven't touched EOS until we got a little more idea of what was going to happen here. I will look at a very quick scalp trade, though, day or scalp trade here, if and when we fall down to or below 450, all the way up to and including 427, and I'll be targeting right around $5 here for a possible play. We'll have to see how it goes, but that's kind of what I'm eyeing as of right now. What will invalidate that, guys? Again, a decisive break above 610, and if we start consolidating above $6.10, if that does happen, that's a very bullish sign, and I'll have to reevaluate my analysis. All right, that wraps EOS. Let's quickly look at BAT, Basic Attention Token, guys. One of the most bullish tokens of the year, without question. Obviously broke out of this major descending resistance line here, and of course just a textbook breakout here, guys, and coming up and retesting some of these prior highs here. Not the all-time high, but some of these prior highs here. I told you last time, I think we were just approaching the top of this zone here, the top of right around 39. I told you if we did break above 39, that would be an extremely bullish sign. It did. It came back down for the retest. Hopefully you guys, as on my last video, I told you if we did break up above 39 on the retest, in other words, when it comes back down for the retest of 39, that's when you want to enter your buy. So if we zoom in here, guys, I mean, it was just you had a perfect entry. Came back, broke up above there, came back down here in the very short term, guys, tested the bottom of the zone, and then just shot up here and came up to that 50 cent range, guys. So you had a chance to enter a very, very nice little scalp trade here, guys. If you took advantage of that, congratulations. If you didn't, you had another chance to buy down here again. It bounced off this zone again, and of course you'd be in profit here, sitting at about 42, almost 43 cents at the moment. We are watching this ascending support line here on BAT. If that does break down, guys, we're going to be coming back down to very likely 39 cents. If that 39 cents does break down, guys, of course, we're going to find the next layer of support right here, where it kind of almost had a double top. The double top was rejected to the bullish side, which is a very good sign. And so that would put you right around 35 cents. What was resistant should be support at 35 cents. I would consider BAT a very good buy here at 35 cents. As of right now, guys, it's certainly a great coin to dollar cost average into, even if it does fall in the short term. Add to that position for a long-term hold. If you're looking for a day and/or scalp, I would kind of wait here. It's right now, it's stuck between support and resistance. Support at 39, resistance at about 45. I think I think if it drops back down to 39, maybe a very quick scalp trade. But I'd be in and I'd be out very, very quickly, guys. I think it's a good coin to dollar cost average into the long haul. I'll kind of leave it at that. At the moment, we are, as I said, we're stuck between resistance and support, and it's a rather risky play. I'd definitely look at BAT if it drops back down here to 39 cents for a very quick scalp trade. And if we do break up above, if you're holding BAT at the moment, anything above 49 cents. Again, if you're trading this, I think it's a sell above 45 cents, excuse me. I think for, again, for a scalp or day trade or even a swing trade, I think it's a sell above 45 cents. That being said, if you're holding it for the long haul, guys, I would do just that. It's definitely a good coin to hold for the long haul. And even if it does fall in the short term, guys, I think there's very little question that BAT is going to perform very, very well. Now, if Bitcoin does fall here, it does have a tendency to sometimes kind of counter trend to Bitcoin every now and then, especially here since this bull run. So it is a decent coin to hedge. However, if Bitcoin does start breaking down massively, I would expect BAT to break down massively as well. And again, I think at least down here to this 36 cent range, I think BAT is almost a must buy here at 36 cents in my opinion. The one thing I will point out very quickly here with BAT, guys, to the upside, if we do come back up here to this $50 range, there's a reason we had a very strong rejection off that 50 cent range, guys. 50 cent, not $50. 50 cent range was, if we come back here and we look at our past, guys, this was a very strong daily supply zone here. Pardon me, a lot of sell orders we can see back here as price broke down, tried to break back up, wick, broke down, didn't quite make it up here, but as when we tested it back here on April 9th, 2018, very strong rejection here, almost 6 days in a row, wick, strong breakdown here, and of course the first time we come back and test it on the way back up here, we get a very strong rejection. So anything up above 50 cents, guys, is going to, I think, very likely going to be very difficult to break through between 50 and 55 cents. If we can break up above 50 cents and start consolidating in that zone, that's when I think that's going to be your first sign that Binance, or excuse me, that Batcoin, BAT is ready to come back up and possibly test all-time highs. But as of right now, guys, it's got a lot of work to do to get up above this zone between 50 cents and 55 cents. So I think we're going to reject off that zone quite a few times before we can finally break up above it. We'll have to see how it goes. But if we can consolidate above this zone, or at least start consolidating above 45 cents, I think that'd be an extremely bullish sign. And I think one of the things that you'll be able to do with basic attention token is once we get up decisively above that 45 cents, we start consolidating on top of it. If that does happen, I think that it's going to be a very good coin for a day and or swing trade. I think we're going to be bouncing in between 50 and 55 cents and 45 cents down here. I think you're going to have a lot of opportunity to trade this coin going forward. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap things there on BAT. Looking at Binance Coin, another one of those coins that was performing very similarly to BAT, one of the most bullish coins of 2019 so far, and also like BAT, sometimes it goes counter trend to Bitcoin. In other words, is a decent hedge on Bitcoin in my opinion. Now we have a classic double top here. We came back here we were at all-time highs on January the 11th, 2018. Came up here, slightly broke up above the all-time high, which of course was an extremely bullish sign. But of course we had a very strong rejection. So again, classic double top here. Came back down. As of now, we've had a very the bulls were able to push it up right on top of the 21-day EMA, this yellow line here. Of course, this 21-day EMA, extremely relevant, guys. As I always tell you, it was acting as support all the way up on this bull run here, and of course, it's acting as support again right now. As of right now, that's sitting right around $20.85. Really call it $21. So I think that's going to act as a very strong support if and when it comes back down to that $21 range again. I think it's a very good buy. Right now, we're kind of stuck between a resistance area here at 23.42 and support down here at approximately $21. And of course, we have major support down here at $19.80 approximately. If and when it does drop below here, I can see it coming down here, hitting the 21-day EMA wicking, or 21-day EMA wicking below here to possibly 1989, and then just great year, by the way, 1989. And then, sidebar, and then bouncing off the, I'm showing my age, guys. I'm really showing my age. And bouncing off this zone and then continuing up there, guys. So I do think it's a must buy if and when we do come down here to $19.80 if it does come back down that low. And in the short term, guys, I think it's really, again, not really following Bitcoin too much, but I wouldn't be surprised to see one more push up here, possibly on the smaller time frame, double topping here, and then right back down here to retest at least the 21-day EMA. Right now, I think it's kind of stuck between, as I said, resistance and support, kind of a very risky trade. But again, that is if you're a day or swing trader. If you're an investor, if you're holding this coin for the long haul, again, I think it's one of the safest coins you could hold. I think that Binance Coin has a very, very strong future. And if you are buying, guys, buying the dip here, I think think is a good thing. Dollar cost averaging into Binance Coin, if you're an investor, is a good thing, guys. And I wouldn't pay too much attention to this short-term price action, in my opinion. I would, however, have some money aside because I think there's a good chance that Binance Coin does come back down and retest this zone at 1970. And I would have some fiat aside to at least buy Binance at 1970, and a little bit more on the side if we come back down to as low as $17.29. And I think that would be the low on Binance Coin if and when we do have a major correction. And of course, at some point we will. All right, that ends Binance Coin. Quickly looking at Ethereum here on the daily chart, guys. I think Ethereum is overall showing a bearish pattern here. I think Ethereum, like Bitcoin, we're going to have a fairly substantial correction here, and we're gonna have to wait and see if we get. I think very likely, like Bitcoin, we may come back down here, maybe just a little bit lower, bounce off the top of this zone here, guys. Come back up. I think it's going to at least come back up here to $1.85, maybe wicking up above, maybe coming up to the top of this ascending triangle that we're. Ascending wedge here, guys, and then rising wedge. Sorry, guys, trying to get my terminology down here. Rising wedge here, and then back down, and then I think there's a likely chance we're going to have a breakdown here. Remember, an ascending wedge like this is a rather bearish sign. The closer we get to the apex of that ascending wedge, anywhere in here, really, it could be anywhere in here. So we could even be approaching it now here, guys. But I think more likely into the apex of this wedge here, guys, we get that breakdown somewhere right in here. And I think we may get one more test here at $1.85, or excuse me, at $185, and then I think we get a stronger breakdown. How strong of a breakdown? I think that easily coming down to $1.50. I think more likely, though, we're going to be coming down and at least testing this zone down here at the bottom of this. There we go. Right around here at possibly 130 to 125. And if that breaks down, guys, I think we're going to find ourselves very quickly down here at around $100 for Ethereum. I don't think it's going to break down that low. I think the bottom is going to be somewhere around 126, 125, somewhere thereabouts, guys. But of course, I could be wrong. Depends on the severity of breakdown on Bitcoin, because we know Ethereum is following Bitcoin very close. So this would jive very well with that theory on Bitcoin. One more kick up and then a pretty strong breakdown. That's exactly what this ascending wedge is showing here. Coming back down, testing the bottom of this ascending wedge, one more pretty good high kick up here, and then breaking right back down. We'll have to just wait and see if that's how it actually plays out. Finally, ending with XRP, guys. XRP, of course, we had, looking at the daily chart, guys, I showed you last time, we had this ascending support line here that had been in place all the way since July of 2017. So quite a long time, I would say, almost 2 years, approaching 2 years. And we just broke below it. That line had just been broken below. Now, we found resistance, or excuse me, we found support exactly where I told you last time we would if that line broke down, which was the bottom of this line here, which was at approximately 28 cents. That's exactly where almost to the dollar, or excuse me, almost to the penny, came down to, almost to the fraction of a penny, I should say, came back to, bounced off that zone, guys. So I think there's a good chance we come back down. We start testing that zone again. We came back up what was resistance, acted as support right here. That's a pretty bearish sign, guys. We'll have to wait and see kind of how this plays out. We may get another chance to buy or to test this 28-cent range. If that really 28.7 cents, if that does happen, I think Ripple is a decent scalp trade. I would target the top of this zone here at about 31 cents. I'd get in and I'd get out. I would not be holding Ripple right now because I do think there's a good chance that this 28 cents is going to break down. If that does happen, guys, I think that we're going to find ourselves down here at 25 cents very, very quickly. And I think Ripple is a decent buy at 25 cents. I really do. All the way down to 23 cents. Even though everybody hates Ripple, guys, it has not had the bull run that everyone's been thinking that it would have, and I think it's overdue. Again, I know everybody hates that. I know Ripple is you either love it or you hate it. I personally am not a fan of Ripple. However, I could see the potential and money-making opportunity going forward once the bull run does start. In the short term, though, guys, I think that Ripple may possibly break down to 25 cents, but may have a little bit more upside here. In the short term, I think we have a little more upside. In the medium term, I think we could break down to 25 cents. In the long term, I think we're going to at least come up here to this 38 to 40 cent range, if not much higher than that. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap things there, guys. If you have any comments, questions, suggestions, please leave them in the comment section below. As always, would appreciate an upvote if you have enjoyed this content. Until next time, guys, please trade safe. Take care of yourselves. This is Workin.